So one of the biggest things that I kind of critiqued Mike Elias for this offseason was definitely the usage in the bullpen. And, he did make 2 acquisitions in Andrew Kittredge and Ryan Helsley. And we still felt like the bullpen was probably pretty thin. And, there's a lot of best case scenarios in this bullpen right now. There were some guys that I felt like they're decent arms, but they were upgradable arms for a team that has playoff and World Series aspirations. Now that Andrew Kittredge goes down, like this bullpen that was already pretty thin and relying on best case scenario is now almost depleted. Almost. Should have Mike have gone out and acquired another bullpen arm, whether it be free agency or via the trade and whatnot? More than likely, yes. I would say probably 90% yes. I understand the fact that he wants to use the guys that he has in-house, some guys that have options, wanted to see what he had in some guys, leave some room, some spots available maybe for some of the young starters that are in the minors that might get a chance to come up this year. I get all of it. I really do. But all it took was one guy to go down for you to get thin. And it may only be 10 days or something like that, a couple games that Andrew Kittredge misses, but that's a big deal for this team. A team that cannot afford to start off slow, cannot afford to give up a game they should win, cannot afford to give up a late inning lead before we even get to Ryan Helsley. So I'm gonna put this on Mike a little bit. I do understand, you had Grant Wolfram. You wanted to see what he had. I'm okay with that. You've had Keegan Aiken for a couple years, and Keegan's given you some pretty decent outings at times, and he's got a little roughed up at times. But I mean that's pitching in the big leagues. You had Dietrich Enns, who finished the second half with us pretty decent last year, but again, he's a wild card. You don't know what you're going to get. You got Yennier Cano, who's been a little roughed up the last year and a half. Some of his pitches just aren't doing what they used to, but the talent's there. Again, he's another best case scenario, just like Aiken, just like Wolfram, just like Enns. You're getting Tyler Wells back, and I think Tyler Wells is a really good pitcher, and he's going to help the bullpen a lot this year. He was just kind of named full-time in the bullpen today. But again, coming off surgery, yes, he pitched well at the end of last year, but what are you going to get at a full season once he kind of gets ramped up a little bit? He'll be good early on. We know that. But again, another wild card, another best case scenario. What are you doing with 6 starters? Is Dean Kramer or is Zach Eflin? Are they moving to the bullpen? Again, are they going to be comfortable in the bullpen? I don't know. Rico Garcia came over here and pitched pretty well. Again, another best case scenario guy. There's nobody outside of Helsley who's also probably, you could maybe even put him in the best case scenario because he did struggle extremely bad last year in the second half. You're hoping he gets back to that 2022 through 2024 kind of guy and kind of forgets what happened in 25. But again, those things don't always happen. You don't really have a fallback option right now with Kittredge gone. Now there's some young guys, Chase McDermott, maybe you had room for Levi Wells, or maybe you have room for Trey Gibson. I don't know the plan. But this was the one thing that I kind of was really, really adamant about this entire offseason was stacking this bullpen. Now, Craig Albertez coming from Cleveland, he's used to that. When he got to the 7th inning with a lead, and look, Cleveland didn't score too many runs, but when he got to the 7th inning with a lead, game is over. And he was used to that. And I wanted to do the same thing. Now, Michael Kopech is still out there. I don't know why. Zach Littell is still out there. Would he want to move back to the bullpen? Maybe. There's some guys out there, maybe you could swing a trade for JoJo Romero, but it's getting late. Even some of these guys that you could bring in, how effective are they going to be? That's another question that we have to ask. So I'm a little concerned to start the season here with the bullpen because it's been a concern all season, and now we're going in kind of short. So Mike's going to have to kind of get that together. Now, the starting pitching kind of is what it is. I know a lot of people wanted that frontline starter. I'm okay with where the starters are right now because I think they're in a good position to be competitive and win some baseball games for us. I really wanted a stout bullpen, and quite frankly, we don't have it right now. Outside of outfield defense, if there's one thing that's going to plague this team, it's going to be the bullpen. Now, some of these guys, again, they could pitch to their best case scenario. They really could, and I'd be happy for them if they did. But if they don't, it just puts us, even if one or two of them don't, it puts you in a bad spot. You got to go out there and you got to get some guys that have been there and done that in the bullpen. Guys that are just, you can rely on. You know they're going to come in and slam the door. I don't think we have that right now. And that's a little concerning for me. I don't know about you guys. I'm pretty sure we're all probably feeling the same way. But, I mean, as much as I like Mike, and I'm a homer, I think Mike's done a lot of good things for this franchise. It's the bullpen usually. And I give Drew French a lot of credit. I mean, what he's given every year isn't amazing by any means, finds a way to be effective with it. And maybe that's kind of contributes to what Mike does. Mike looks at it, it's like, it doesn't matter who I give Drew French. I get quality out of these guys, even if it's just for a couple months. I mean, you can look back a couple years now with Drew French, and the term that we've heard is dumpster diving in the bullpen, and Drew's found a way to get quality outings out of, I would say, over 80% of the guys that he's given. It still might be the thing here. And again, kudos to Drew French. Kudos. I mean, we've seen this spring some guys make some adjustments, look very good. Grant Wolfram looking very good. Again, it is spring. I understand that. These games do matter. I know people like to say that they don't matter. To me, they do matter because roster decisions are made on these games. So they matter enough, So it's good to see some guys kind of getting off to a good start here, but we've seen, some little like pitch mechanic and tweaks and stuff and grip changes and stuff. And guys like Shane Baz couldn't throw the slider last year, just kind of lost control of it. And then would he come out today and he threw a couple sliders that would have been like the 5th most movement in all of baseball last year when you kind of look at the StatCast data. So it's little things like that Drew French is extremely good at. I still would just love to give Drew French some top quality bullpen arms just one time, like Michael Kopech. What can he do with a guy like Michael Kopech who throws 100 miles an hour? He's already tinkering Ryan Helsley a little bit with a splitter. That's going to help big time. Get him some other guys that are established in this league and are very, very good. I just feel like Mike's kind of dropped the ball, and I'm a big fan of Mike, and I'm appreciative of what he's done for this franchise. I know we haven't won any playoff games yet, but it's coming. A lot of that's been on the offense. I feel like the offense was finally addressed, but the bullpen is still a problem. Now, again, I could be completely wrong here. You and I, maybe if we're on the same page, we could both be completely wrong. And some of these guys just light the world on fire. And that's very possible. It happens all the time in baseball. I just really want that guy. And you guys let me know how you're feeling about this. I mean, it's tough to sit around and just say like, oh, well, Aiken's going to pitch pretty good. Like, who's your high leverage lefty? Like, is it Aiken? Can you trust Aiken? Like, I can trust him, in like the 5th and 6th inning and whatnot. But if it's the 8th inning and there's like 3 lefties coming up in a 1-run ball game, I can't sit here and say I have 100% confidence in Keegan Aiken. I'm confident he'll get a couple guys out and maybe have a good outing more times than not. But those couple times, and I get it. Sometimes it's baseball and you just don't have your best stuff. But I just want a guy who's more locked down and is going to slam the door when he comes in. Kind of like what Craig was used to in Cleveland. I don't know much more to say about it. If you guys are into this kind of thing, I appreciate you watching us long. Make sure you hit the like button, smash the sub button. We drop O's content here all the time. Appreciate you watching. I appreciate your time, and I'll catch you later.